Who have we got next? Where's Tim? Where are we?
Here, John.
Here we go. Who's next?
We have Lara. Lara, introduce yourself.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, John. My name is Lara Kaput, and I'm a former Jehovah's Witness. There's a couple of us here today. And the reason why we're here today, we've driven nearly an hour to come and talk to you, is because the Jehovah's Witnesses have a religious assembly hall here in Melton. And it's on Bullman's Road in Melton. And it was built here in the late 70s and 80s. And we were child labourers. We helped to build that assembly hall. And we were used as free labour. For example, we cleaned bricks and built roads at the Assembly Hall.
And you did that. Your families were part of the congregation, I presume?
Yes, we're former Jehovah's Witnesses,
Okay.
but we grew up that way. Now, the way that it relates to today is that a number of the children from the Australian Royal Commission, which finished last December, were child abuse victims, child sexual abuse victims of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and actually per capita higher than the Catholic Church. If I just quickly tell you the figures, the Catholic Church was 4,400, the Jehovah's Witnesses were 1,800. And the reason why this is relevant to Melton is they've got the Assembly Hall. You could possibly use that for the hospital premises, so maybe investigate
So
that.
it's Rhonda, wasn't it? Yeah. Lara, sorry. You've got on Monday, do you know what's happening on Monday?
Yes.
The Prime Minister and the opposition leader in federal parliament are making a national apology to victims of institutional abuse as recommended by the Royal Commission. Does that satisfy some of your concerns?
Some of it. We're thrilled that the government's saying sorry, and in fact we'll be in Canberra. My colleagues here and I will be in Canberra, so thank you for asking. And we appreciate the government's doing that. In our case, the Jehovah's Witness Church has not signed up. They've never said sorry.
Is that right?
They're not part of the redress scheme. So we want them to say sorry. No, they've refused to join it.
Why? Do you know?
That's a good question. We'd like them to answer that.
Have they never answered? They've never given reasons?
No, they haven't, but we will be releasing an open letter to the governing body asking them to say sorry, to join the redress scheme.
Have people sued the Jehovah's Witnesses the way they've taken court cases against so many other religious and institutional groups?
Yes, they have. It's difficult because in Australia you have to go one-on-one with them because they're not in the redress scheme. But in the last fortnight there was a $35 million case which was successful in the US, and we've actually collected hundreds of articles about child sexual abuse by the Jehovah's Witnesses globally.
Wow. Okay, look, have a chat to Tim without the microphone being on, because obviously we're constrained, and so I thank you for recognising those constraints also in your contribution. And Lara, very, very gutsy of you to speak publicly in front of a whole lot of strangers. I really salute you for that. That whole process of that Royal Commission has been quite an extraordinary thing for this country, and I'm sure my rappers would like to say something in response to your contribution as well. Ed?
Look, I'd also just acknowledge Lara's courage and all those who've made submissions to the Royal Commission, and the duty of government, of community leaders, is to make the change that the Royal Commission has recommended to ensure that that sort of behaviour just doesn't happen again.
Jane?
Oh, I think it's been one of the most landmark, significant institutional responses by government to what has a great stain on this nation and right around the world. I mean, I'm from the church. My dad was a minister in the Baptist church and then an Anglican priest, and the churches do great good, but they have harboured great evil. And it's courage of people like you and others who have stood up and demanded not only to be heard but to have some redress and justice. And I think this apology is really significant, but it's also people's lives have been smashed. They haven't been able to work. They've committed suicide. That's why we need a redress scheme, and they've been, being dragged through the courts by deep pocketed religious institutions that have further damaged them. So, we've still got a hell of a lot of work to do to even begin to heal the exceptional, extraordinary, horrific, disgraceful damage that's been done to so many lives.